Hi, and welcome to part 2 of the Average Joe Hockey Report on goaltending. The last team we did was the Nashville Predators, which means the next team we talk about is the New Jersey Devils. As long as Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood are around, New Jersey won't have any goaltending problems. The duo should also do better should the team get stronger, and more cap space is on the way for the team. So going forward, the Devils look fine there. Next is the New York Islanders, and they get a two thumbs up there with Semyon Varlamov and up-and-coming goalie Ilya Sorokin. Going forward, the team should be fine regarding goaltending. Next is the New York Rangers. Well, don't look now, but Igor Shesterkin is starting to play much better than he was at the beginning of the season. Shesterkin is going to need a new contract at the end of the season, but should get one with the way he's playing. The Rangers, as it is, are getting close to being out of the basement and still boast one of the strongest prospect pools in the NHL, so they will only get better in the future. So the Rangers goaltending should be in good hands with Shesterkin in the fold, and will be even better with the team in front of Shesterkin being stronger. Next is the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa this season has had a carousel of goalies who are trying to find their up and coming goalie. Matt Burry has been what I thought he'd be, which is not good. And Joey Decord and Marcus Hogberg haven't been any better. While Anton Forsberg and Philip Gustafsson have played well, Forsberg looks like a journeyman considering this is he's on his fifth team in 5 years. And I watched Gustafsson versus the Habs, and any pucks that didn't go to his chest were bouncing off him, and he was leaving rebounds left, right, and center. Yes, he has time to, improve on his rebound control or whatever, but with what I just said, while the team continues to rebuild, their goaltending situation is filled with uncertainty at the moment. Next is the Philadelphia Flyers. It's been a struggle for Carter Hart this season, but I wouldn't say that he is the problem. I'd say that the defense needs a bit of a retool, and a new coaching staff I think is especially needed, since I'm not a fan of the three coaches that are there, as in the head coach Eddie Vigneault and the two assistant coaches. Hart should be better. Hart should have better days once those two things occur, and he's only 22 years old after all, so his better days are still ahead of him. Next is the Pittsburgh Penguins. After a slow start, Tristan Jarry and Casey DeSmith have picked up their game and are the reason why the Pens traded Matt Murray away. Jarry and DeSmith for the time should be decent options going forward for the time being. Next is the San Jose Sharks, and it's filled with a lot of uncertainty. Martin Jones hasn't put up good statistics in a few seasons now, but has a good win-loss record this season, and the team, which was thought to be more of a rebuilding team, now sees themselves 5 points behind the fourth-place Arizona Coyotes. Devin Dudnik has been worse than Jones, but his contract is up at the end of this season. The team doesn't really have an up-and-coming goalie, so I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of their situation. Next, I know they're not in the league, but next is the Seattle Kraken. I think Seattle's got many options in regards to choosing goalies, and they could choose a goalie of the caliber of either Jake Allen or Chris Drieger as their goalies, or maybe even both of them, or even go to free agency. So, like I said, Seattle absolutely has some good options for goalie selections, and I'd be disappointed if they absolutely blow this opportunity somehow. Next is the St. Louis Blues. Jordan Bennington's stats continue to plummet, but he certainly has time to turn things around. A bit of cap space should be on the way for the Blues, and also an intriguing member of in their system is Joel Hofer, who won a gold medal for Team Canada in the 2020 World Junior Hockey Championship. So the Blues should at least have some at least decent goaltending in their future going forward. Next is the Tampa Bay Lightning, and all you need to know is that Andrei Vasilevsky is 26 and is the best goalie in the NHL today, and should have many more years of solid goaltending in him. Next is the Toronto Maple Leafs, and to me it's filled with uncertainty. Signs point towards Frederik Andersen being let go to free agency, and rightfully so, since his stats in the past 2 seasons haven't been great. However, I think the verdict is still out on Jack Campbell. Yes, he's playing great, but he's been a backup for most of his career and is 29 years old and has never played more than 31 games in the NHL. I've said that a lot. I know I've said that quite a bit. Or I know I said that the last time I talked about him, but still though. It took him 9 years between the NHL, AHL, and ECHL to get him where he is at now, and I'm still not fully convinced. To add to it, he plays in the worst division in the NHL. I'm not saying he can't be the starter for the Leafs next season, but I do most certainly have my reasons for being skeptical. The Leafs don't really have any other options and don't really have an up-and-coming goaltender, so I must say I'm not too optimistic about their goaltending situation. Next is the Vancouver Canucks. Thatcher Demko has taken over as the team's starting goalie, to no surprise, in my opinion, and should provide some stellar goaltending for a long time now. Michael DiPietro is an intriguing part of the Canucks system going forward and should be much better than Rick DiPietro, I'll tell you that. So while the Canucks have their issues, it's certainly not in the goaltending in the short term or the long term. Next is the Vegas Golden Knights, and, well, between Marc-Andre and Fleury and Robbie Lehner, there shouldn't be any problems with the goaltending in Vegas anytime soon. It's more than fine for the time being. Next is the Washington Capitals. While I thought that Ilya Samsonov was going to fully take over as the starting goalie, he struggles a bit, and Vitek Vanacek comes in and makes things interesting. While he hasn't been much better than Samsonov, both goalies are young and would benefit from having a stronger blue line, or just more or less a more well-rounded team in front of them. Although they are doing really well, though. I think the Capitals' goaltending should be fine for now and in the future as well. And last but not least, since we went in alphabetical order, the Winnipeg Jets. Connor Hellebuyck, while could use a bit of help from his team up front, has continued his strong play from when he won the Vezina last season. Laurent Brossoit has been a very reliable backup as well, and has put up some pretty good stats too this season. Both goalies are 28, so they should have solid goaltending for a long time. This video may have no implications on how goalies develop or what teams are going to do with their goaltending situation, and at times is based on opinion. So remember, if I'm wrong, don't belittle me, educate me. Take care, everyone, and follow my Instagram page, Average Joe Hockey Report, and my YouTube channel, Marty Tom.